Okay, so this is my testimonial for working with Sezu. A lot of different benchmarks of improvements and results, and so I'll start from the beginning. Before you and I worked together, Sezu and I worked together, I was, coaching, working, making money every month, inconsistently, really sort of almost grabbing for clients and hoping to renew the clients that I had. I couldn't actually see where the money was coming from. I had a very limited idea of where the clients were coming from and where the money was coming from. So even though it was coming in, it wasn't really consistent at all. And it wasn't nearly at the levels that I wanted it to be. I was definitely not even making $5,000 per month on a regular basis. Then I did the 4-week program, which was really, really informative and kind of blew my mind in terms of mindset and in terms of me understanding what was actually going on with me and how I was the bottleneck of my business, which I guess I knew in theory, but I didn't really understand how it was working. And I saw that I had been closing myself down to money, and that, as Sezu says, I was looking at what was possible through this little keyhole of how I can get money. And once I sort of opened the door, or leave it even just a crack, I realized that money was in so many different places that I hadn't seen before, and all the ideas about what was possible were completely made in my own head to keep me small. For example, I had an idea that I couldn't sign on somebody that I hadn't met before, that someone had to be in my world, on my list or in my Facebook group or whatever for like a year or something crazy like this before they would actually sign on with me. And that was completely not true, because I signed on 2 clients, one after the other, who I'd never met before, who had been in my Facebook group for like a week, and on that first call. The other idea was that people wouldn't pay for a 6-month program or larger all in full. And actually, I realized just more recently that I like to admit, but recently that was something I'd really been holding myself back. I had put everybody on a payment plan, and I didn't allow myself to receive the money in full, that large amount. And once I saw that and I had that awareness, it's actually opened me up to getting more money and being paid in that way, because more money now is better than later. And so that the group itself was tremendous for just seeing what was possible and seeing how much money could come through and actually making money. I think within the first couple of weeks, I definitely made my investment, and I had my best month ever, way over 10K. I think it was 11K that month in the group program. And then working with Sezu privately, I'm just about halfway through, so it's not as if we're complete at all. But what we did, what Sezu helped me see, is that even though I was able to bring in, 5 figures, it still wasn't sustainable. And I still didn't have the opportunity, or I didn't have the business structure, foundation to actually get the 20K sales that I wanted consistently. And it was actually quite refreshing when during our intensives, as you said, well, you're just not set up for that. It's not gonna work. And it was like finally someone telling me the truth about what's possible and what isn't. And once we figured out how to set myself up for a 20K month and beyond, now I know what to do. So I wake up every morning, know what my priority is, knowing what to do and how to make it happen. And so it's just like building at this point. And it's really exciting because I know it's possible and happening. It's not just possible, it's actually happening. And knowing that the underlying thing is, in the group, but also in action. And as I go through this, is really understanding that I am the mentor. I am the authority on what I teach. And just sitting in that, standing in that, in a lot more confidence, naturally brings interest, brings energy, brings conversations on my posts, and yes, brings clients. So it's like, once I stepped into this, it got a lot more easy, a lot simpler, a lot less slimy feeling like I was trying to sell something, and more like I was just doing what I do, and people were noticing, the right people were noticing and wanting to be wanting to work with me, which is what's happening now.
So what's the difference between the first round of healing with money and the second round?
Yeah, well, the first round was like a total like mind blow. Brand spanking new. I hadn't really thought about this at all in this way. The second round, and even though in the first round we went through the action steps, the second round was going through the action steps, and the homework and the activities and the experiences, but it was also doing like the homework, but also living it. Like really experiencing what it was like to be in this new mindset, to be in this mindset of seeing how all the places where I hold myself back, seeing all the places where I have this money wound, and also seeing it in others, as we've discussed too, but seeing it and also living in a place where it's completely opposite, so I've experienced where things that would have been wildly uncomfortable in the past now aren't, because I've stepped into that discomfort, and after feeling it, now everything else feels a little bit easier, or a lot easier. So I would say the difference really is that things feel a little bit easier, and now I've got to up the ante to to feel the discomfort and to really push my edges, because I know that every edge can be pushed. Like if I really thought the edge was real, like now I realize it's not. Like it's silly. Like to think that there was any limitation is silly, because they've been removed so clearly that I can go to the next level, go to the next level, go to the next level. And it's like become more habitual now. I think that's like a big thing, is that I'm sort of setting it in my body and in my life, so that looking for discomfort or having like a, what Sezu says, like a discomfort practice, like really looking for places where you can feel uncomfortable has become habit. And it keeps me feeling like anything is possible, because it is when you do that.
Yeah. What about your new group program?
So I have a new group program, which I'm really excited about, which similar to the way Sezu described how her program came to be, that it was sort of rattling around in your head for a long time until you realized this is the time for it to come out. I have been compiling in my mind everything that I just want to say to people. I just want to shake them and be like, you have to know this. And for some reason, I had a lot of resistance to it, thinking that it would be way too complicated and way too busy, and I needed a long funnel, and I had all these other levels of resistance that was really just the money wounds of me not being able to earn and step into the place that I need, that was rightfully mine. And so now, after working with Sezu for like a minute, she was like, well, that's just silly, create one. And so now I've created one, and
without actually doing the work first, right? You sold already 4 people, right?
I've gotten paid. At this point. I've gotten paid $2,000 at this point to think about creating it, which I haven't actually created yet. I will. It starts next week, and it will be fantastic. All the information is in my experience, in my mind, and it will soon be in a way that my clients can understand. But more importantly, I sold it, and I'm continuing to sell it, and I know that I can fill it up to the point where it's actually sold out. And that was really like, we gave like a month, I think a month to sell it and plan it, and that's a week till it begins. And it's so exciting to know that I can do that. That's part of my business, that I can do that and then learn from it and use the testimonials and really make it extraordinary. And I can do it again and again and again. And the better it gets, the more experience I have and my clients have, the better it will be and the more results they'll get. And it just will just perpetuate this wonderful, love, money cycle.
Yeah. What about the ability to receive more cash monthly?
That has been a little bit more amorphous for me. And I say that because I didn't actually believe that I was able to receive more until I did. And then seeing that made it true. And Zazu, what she is so amazing at doing, especially in the beginning, when we first started working together in the group program, I was actually, I don't know if I told you this, but I was actually really impressed that every time someone said, hey, I just made $100 or I made $1,000, I just made $5,000, whatever it was, that you always immediately saw that number and posted it, showcased it, talked about it, that you never let anybody forget the numbers, forget what was happening, forget how much money was coming in. And I think, I mean, for me, it was like startling to see that that was something I always kind of forgot. You know, I always forgot, oh, I didn't really make that much money. It's like, well, actually I did. If you go back and look, you earn a lot of money. And I wasn't aware of how much money I was earning. And I think many other people in the program felt that way too. So once I saw how much money was actually coming in, it completely transformed my understanding of what I could actually do or what I was capable of. And then I started to earn more money. So it worked out really nicely. But that was really like, my first response was like, oh my God, you can talk about this, you know? Like that's okay. You're supposed, and once I saw you do it over and over and over again, like showcasing everybody, really celebrating everybody's like earning potential in dollar amounts, to the dollar, to the cents, then it became clear that yes, this is happening. Everything should be celebrated, and it continues to happen. And so that opened me up to receiving one, a painful client, which was extraordinary, and also opening myself up to no longer forgetting that I had money privately that I forgot about, and like remembering that I had all this money that was completely, you know, helpful, and I made me feel like, oh my God, I'm so abundant, and I totally forgot about that money. So I remembered that I had, you know, many, many thousands of dollars just waiting for me to actually utilize, which I did, and I have. So yeah.
Where are you at this month? We're on the 27th.
So on the 27th, it's I'm at 9,100.
9,100 in cash or in business?
In business. In cash, I'm about 7,000.
Nice. That's a lot higher than prior months.
Yes, absolutely. I had in prior months, I very rarely broke 5,000 in cash.
Awesome. Yay. And you still have 3 days to go.
Woo! Yeah, 4 days. It's the 31st.
4 days, right? a lot of money can be made in 4 days. So this is amazing.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I know that this will be really helpful for anybody considering to do. I think the program in and of itself, when you do it the first time versus the second time, it's a completely different thing. And can you tell me, like, I mean, what even inspired you to want to take it again?
I just simply felt like it was so deep. I just knew it wasn't complete for me. I just got this sense like there's more. There's so much more, you know? And so it was like a non-issue. Just like I had to continue. And one thing I will add that I forgot to before is that the cool thing about doing it again is that it allowed me to simultaneously be obviously the student, but also step into a mentor role too, you know, and that feels really great. And it's the same kind of work I'm doing everywhere, which is what you're teaching us, to be the mentor everywhere, even when you pee, you know?
Yay, pee like a mentor.
Like a mentor, you know? Yeah, everything is, that is consistent, you know, you don't just show up in one way, in one experience with one way and another experience a different way. Like you're the mentor. And even when you're a student, even when I'm a student and completely vulnerable and learning, I'm also the mentor. And that in not just in theory, but in experience has been, I think, really powerful for me.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the women in the group were able to appreciate your mentorship and some of the comments that you share with them. So that's really beautiful. Thanks. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for sharing, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you.